sailor, what will we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning? Way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Shave his belly with a rusty razor, shave his belly with a rusty razor, shave his belly with a rusty razor early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Put him in a long boat till he's sober, put him in a long boat till he's sober, put him in a long boat till he's sober early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe on him. Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe on him. Stick him in the scupper with a hose pipe on him early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises early in the morning. That's what we do with the drunken sailor. That's what we do with the drunken sailor. That's what we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises, way she rises, way hey, and up she rises early in the morning. Way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises, way hey, and up she rises early in the morning.
Welcome to another live Radical Republican show. I am the host, Jerome Bell, the Black Mamba. And welcome to another week of unedited, uncensored, unscripted, unfiltered, and unapologetic live talk. We only say things here that the other ones are scared to say. What the other ones can't say, we say it here in the Lion's Den on the Radical Republicans live show. And I thank you for tuning in. I hope y'all had a great week, because we're gonna have a great show. Now, my co-host is supposed to show up today. I got my lady girl co-host. If she didn't get busy today, she may have gotten busy today. We got Trevian Kutti back in the Lion's Den tonight, co-hosting here on the show tonight. Hopefully she'll make it in. I text her, be like, hey girl, it's showtime. Where you at? Hold up. 8 Central. No, she always get it wrong. 7 Central, girl. But you can come at 8. But come at 8. I'll tell you say. But come when you can. All right, she got the time mixed up because we're on different time zones here. You know, I do this show live. I'm my own producer. I schedule my own guest. Well, actually, I got a booking company sometimes to schedule the guest for my co-host and everything. Sometimes we're on different time zones. We travel a lot. We're like, I don't know what time is it, what time zone, what time are you coming on? But we are here live every Sunday night unless I'm on vacation. Hey, Carolyn over there. At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So set your clock, set your phone notifications, set your calendars to be here on the Radical Republicans live show every Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. All right, so here we go. So we're checking out my boy TBB over there. We got baseballs over there. Hey, I started off tonight with a little bit of Irish for St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. And God bless all you Irishmen. And happy St. Patrick's Day to all of my Irish friends. And yes, I do have Irish friends. I do have Irish friends. And so St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow. I will probably not be going. I might go out and have me a Guinness tomorrow. You know, I actually got hooked on Guinness in Dublin, Ireland, you know, where they take it out of the barrel warm. You just drink it straight out of the barrel. The spigot is on the barrel and you drink it warm. And they draw the cute little like I say, clover in it. And it looks so cool, so cool, so cool, so cool. All right, so all right, so before I get started, hey guys, know gold went over at $3,000 for a moment last week. It's you know, that's that next resistance, right? It says been, you know, staying around 2,900, but that's that next resistance is that 3,000. That 3,000, and it flirted with 3,000 last week. So that's why you need to go see my man Ira Bershatsky over at ourgoldguide.com. You can download your free gold and silver guide. So you go to ourgoldguide.com and download your free gold and silver guide. It's an America First company. They source their gold here in America, customized investment strategies based on personal needs and desires. You will not talk to a salesperson. You will actually be talking to my dude, Ira Bershatsky, over there, precious metals expert. He's been doing it for years. They have extremely competitive rates. Mention my name, Jerome Bell to Ira. All right, so he can take care of you over there. So he can take care of you. So go over there to ourgoldguide.com. Hey, they have silver, they have gold, but go over and get your free gold kit. So you can check it out. I mean, it's a hedge to the inflation. Hold on to it for your kids and the grandkids. I know that's what I do. It's one thing that I do. And also, for my next sponsor, get this sponsor out of the way as well. It is tailored for travelers who prioritize staying healthy while on the go, guys. All right, so life on the road can be exhilarating, but it also comes with its share of uncertainties. As a frequent traveler, you understand the importance of staying healthy no matter where your adventures take you. That's where the wellness company steps in. Introducing our Traveler's Health Kit, designed with you in mind. From tick bites to unexpected health challenges, we've got you covered. Inside our kit, you'll find essential medications like ivermectin, emergency antibiotics, antivirals, and more, all neatly packed for your convenience. Rest assured, our medical professionals, including renowned experts like Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. James Thorpe, Dr. Harvey Risch, Dr. Drew Pinsky, and Dr. Robert Seek. Now have your back. Stay healthy and explore the world with confidence. Get your traveler's health kit from the Wellness Company today. Visit twc.health/MBN and use promo code MAMBA, MAMBA, for your exclusive 10% discount. Your health, your journey. This is my son. Why is he calling? I can't talk to him right now. Your health, your journey. Trust in the Wellness Company. This version emphasizes the confidence and with your traveler's health kit offers to those who are always on the go. Always on the go. So check it out. All right. So I'm going to play a clip. My boy is calling. He needs something. Oh, he's live. He knows I'm on the show. All right. So I'm going to play a clip, right? And then because we're going to jump in here, I'm going to play this first with the Democrats because, we were looming up on the shutdown, okay? And we're looming on the shutdown. And of course, you know how the Democrats, they were going to try to blame the Republicans, try to blame Trump. But let me show you a clip how the Democrats actually feel about a shutdown.
Are marching America to a painful government shutdown.
But we need traditional Republicans to break with MAGA extremists so we can keep the government open.
Republican shutdown will cost 6,306 of her constituents their paychecks.
Put the bill on the floor for an up or down vote so we can end this MAGA Republican nightmare. And if you don't, you own this government shutdown.
And we could put the threat of a shutdown behind us. Our agreement would keep the government open, provide emergency aid for communities battered by hurricanes and other natural disasters.
It's about the harm that House Republicans will do to the American people if the government shuts down.
One Democrat said to me they feel like they have a mandate from their constituents to shut down the government.
Yes, there are some raising the possibility of shutting down the government in March.
We will use whatever power we have, and fundamentally, we're not going to vote for something that undermines the American people.
To withhold votes, do Democrats have the stomach?
I certainly hope so. I know that I'm not going to vote for their proposal for sure.
Are you prepared to shut down the government, to join Democratic colleagues who want to stand in the way of keeping the government open?
Well, there are simply trying
yes?
to... So yes, look, if we have to take steps.
14 days from now, government shutdown is looming.
If we don't believe that we have a willing partner on the other side, then we need to stay united and not bail out President Trump.
And yet, at the same time, in order for a lot of voters to fully understand what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing, people are unfortunately going to have to feel some of that. And the only way that that happens is if the shutdown.
Wait a minute. The Democrats are such hypocrites, man. If you just wait on the Democrats to talk, I'm gonna play some more clips here, but when you just wait on the Democrats to talk, right? And you go back 6 months and you find some video, where they're just the opposite, right? They are totally just the opposite. So they wanted Chuck Schumer to, and they're really rebelling against Chuck Schumer right now. I'm gonna play some clips on that. But they wanted Chuck Schumer to let the government shut down so they can try to blame Trump. Okay, Trump is masterful, right? Got the House together, they got the votes, and the only no vote was Thomas Massey. Hey, I'm with you with Thomas Massey on that. He knew it wasn't going to change anything. He stayed to his principles. He stayed, doing what his constituents sent him to office to do. So I don't have a problem with Thomas Massey. And he actually called it, and I might play his prediction of what was going to happen anyway, because he knows it's theatrics. He knows it's just a game. I am not a fan of CRs, okay? I want the Congress to go and do the constitutional right thing, do their constitutional duty, and pass a budget. That's what we want. That's what we put them in office to do, to uphold the Constitution of the United States. CRs are not in the Constitution. CRs are not in the Constitution. So a lot of people, they got angry with Massey because, he broke with Trump and he broke with the Republicans because, he did what he thought was best. And he actually explained it too. And I'm actually going to play that video with Thomas Massey because some of you may not have seen it and some of you may be actually hating on Massey, but he makes a lot of sense, right? he makes a lot of sense. And I'm gonna play a little bit. I'm gonna play some Cuomo in here. You know, I gotta but let me see if I got that Cuomo in here, because you know, he didn't agree. He has to agree with Schumer. He also did not want the government to be shut down. Okay, but you know, I'm gonna bring this in. I'm not gonna play it yet though, but I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna play Schumer first, because Schumer, what people say, caved. Hey, I think he did the smart thing, you know. But me, I mean, I'm actually also for a government shutdown. If we can't get it right, shut it down, and it is what it is, right? You know, but you know, Trump and Mike Johnson played the cards. They went and voted, and they left town. So they left it square in the lap of the Senate, and they know with the filibuster, right? The filibuster rule, you need 60 votes. You need 60 votes unless they, you know, take away the filibuster. And you know how the Democrats are. They, you know, wanted the filibuster because the Republicans would, you know, do some things if we didn't have the filibuster, and it's just so much stuff. But you know, they go back and forth, and you know, I think it's more theatrics, you know, and they lie and things like that. So let me go to this clip with Schumer. Let me see which one. It's just so much. The Democrats give you so much material. It's just crazy. And sometimes you just don't even know what to play first sometimes. So let me play Schumer. I'll play this one first.
Mr. President,
the Democratic leader.
Funding the government should be a bipartisan effort, but Republicans chose a partisan path, drafting their continuing resolution without any input from congressional Democrats. Because of that, Republicans do not have the votes in the Senate to invoke cloture on the House CR. Our caucus is unified on a clean April 11th CR that will keep the government open and give Congress time to negotiate bipartisan legislation that can pass.
Oh, that's one. That's Chuck Schumer folding on the floor of the Senate, because he goes on to say that they're going to vote for it. And here's another clip.
No strategy, no message. That's a quote. That's how a Democratic lawmaker was describing the Democratic Senate vote with Republicans this weekend to fund the government with a Republican funding bill, averting a government shutdown. But there was virtually no fight and nothing achieved for Democratic priorities. This comes as our brand new CNN poll this morning shows that the Democratic Party's favorability is at an all-time low in this CNN poll. It's just 29% approval. That's a 20-point drop since 2021. This has been a rough 72 hours for Democrats. I want to play some of what Democratic Senate Leader Schumer told me on The Lead on Friday about his decision to vote with the Republicans to fund the government. Take a listen.
A government shutdown gives Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Doge almost complete power as to what to close down, because they can decide what is an essential service. If they determine that SNAP, kids shouldn't get food, is not essential, they can just cut it out summarily. They could fire half the workers in the federal government. It would have been a far worse consequence.
So he's saying that the path that House Democrats wanted would have presented a worse consequence. Is he wrong?
He's absolutely wrong. I mean, look at the reality of the votes, right? I understand that the American people are frustrated. Please believe many of us did not sleep because we were calling and trying to impress upon the senators the importance of pushing back in this moment. And as you saw, we had all but one Democrat in the House that voted for this. So that's 212 Democrats in the House. And then you had the vast majority of senators vote for it or vote against it as well. And so the idea that Chuck Schumer is the only one that's got a brain in the room and the only one that can think through all of the pros and cons is absolutely ridiculous. And Jake, you and I both know that this administration could care less about whether or not they violate the law. We know that we've had to rely heavily upon the courts. And I want to say, as you're talking about the polling on my party, I want to say that it is the Democratic attorney generals and some governors that are standing up against this administration and bringing those lawsuits and winning every single time. They are losing in court. Could we do a better job of making sure that the American people know that we are winning in the courts? We probably could. But at the end of the day, it's still Democrats that are winning for the American people.
Some progressive groups are calling for new leadership in the Senate for Democrats. Even House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, your leader, he was asked if he supports Schumer as leader of the Senate Democrats, and he said, next question. Do you think Senate Democrats should replace Chuck Schumer?
I think Senate Democrats have to sit down and take a look and decide whether or not Chuck Schumer is the one to lead in this moment.
You're close with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York. Some of your fellow House Democrats say, and not just progressives, by the way, we've heard that moderates have said this too, that they're ready to support her to challenge Chuck Schumer in a Democratic primary. Would you get behind that?
That's 4 years from now. If you were asking me at least in 2 years, then I would have an absolute answer. But I can tell you that there are a lot of people that are watching his leadership in this moment. This is the moment. We don't even know what elections will look like in 4 years, if we will have elections. And so I definitely think that younger, fresher leadership may be something that many of us, not just depending on what part of the spectrum you're on, but many Americans may be looking for, especially in the state of New York.
So if you have an answer in 4 years, you should have an answer. If it's coming up in 2 years, you should have an answer, right? When in doubt, put one of the dumbest, I'm gonna say one of the dumbest Congress people up on your show. The people already say 29% approval rate. I guess she didn't see that stat up there, right? I guess she didn't see that Democrat Party has a 29% approval rate, and that's from their own people. That's from Democrats. That didn't have anything to do with Republicans. Okay, their party is imploding. I mean, like it should. They have no leadership. Hakeem Jeffries is weak leadership. Schumer, even though he probably did the best thing and he explained it, you have the dummies, I guess, behind him thinking that he should have shut down the government. I mean, let's make no mistake. A government shutdown is never good. Okay, that's why the government will never shut down. Okay, this is why it's always theatrics. When it's coming up on the CR, they're going to keep doing CRs. They're not going to do a budget. They're going to keep kicking the can down the road. Okay, and they're never going to do a budget. And until we get people elected and put in office that will obey the Constitution, I don't believe they're going to do a budget. Because it's going to come to, this one goes to September 30th. The new and why it is, if you guys don't understand, the new fiscal year and the government starts October 1st. Okay, so that's why this CR goes until September the 30th. Okay, well, it's coming up on October. It's coming up on 2026, right? Guess what time that is? That's election season. That's election season. They're gonna do the theatrics about the CR. The government's gonna run out of money. We can't do this. We can't. Okay, it's the Republicans' fault. They own the Congress and the Senate. It's the Democrats' fault because we can't do the filibuster. We need Democrats in the Senate to come over and vote with us to be able to do this. And so it's going to be all this theatrics. And here, I'm going out on a limb here. Okay, this is my prediction. They're going to do another CR because they're not going to want to piss off their base so much going into election season, because you have primaries coming up shortly in 2026. I think primaries starting like May, right? You got May, June, primaries. People in every House seat is up for grabs, okay? Every House seat is up for grabs. So for a definite fact, they're not going to shut down the government, okay? They're not going to shut down the government. Now, if the Republicans had some balls, they would put everything into a package and be like, okay, well, here we are again. And dare you to shut down the government here on the election year. Okay. So let's see what happens. September 30th. I think they're going to do another CR and continue to kick the can down the road because no one wants to lose their seat. No one wants to get voted out. They fleece off the American people. It just is what it is. Right. And I welcome. Here's what I welcome. And AOC, even though, see, this is the thing. Crockett, to me, okay, Crockett and AOC are the next two to go. Crockett and AOC are next two to go. You guys may not want to hear this. You may not want to believe it, okay? But they are messing with the wrong people, okay? You can't mess with the Chuck Schumer. You can't mess with it. He's too bought. He's too dug in. He's too their guy, okay? If AOC thinks she has big enough panties or whatever she wears to go up against Chuck Schumer, I tell her go for it. And she's going to feel the entire weight of AIPAC on her head, and she's going to feel what it feels like. She's going to find out. She's going to FAFO what it feels like to have AIPAC on your head. Okay. And Crockett's going to go. They're using her right now as a useful idiot. She's going to start speaking out against the wrong person. This is why she sort of, didn't want to speak out against Chuck Schumer, but she did. I have some clips where she did. And they're speaking out against the wrong people. Okay. These are people that's been in Congress forever. Okay. They have their handlers. They're bought and paid for. They're going to get the money. They're going to win their elections. And you're going to be asked that. You're going to get Bowman. Ask Bowman, ask Cori Bush how it feels. Okay. And you squad females. Okay. And Nancy Pelosi, I'm going to play a clip from Nancy Pelosi because she's sort of, acting like she's upset with Chuck Schumer. I'm going to bring in my girl. She's here now. Miss Trevian Kutti.
Hello.
Hey, girl. What's happening? Everybody's like, where Trevian at? I'm like, I don't know.
You know
what?
I'm so messed up. I thought last time I came on at 8 Central, and apparently...
And you may have because you came on at 9 o'clock. You didn't
okay, gotcha. So
that's what happened. Yeah. So you're starting the show now. So okay. So I was just playing a clip of Chuck Schumer, and dummy Crockett, on the CR, and I was just getting into. I was just going to play a clip where Nancy Pelosi claims to be mad at Chuck Schumer, and she says that he should listen to the women. I'm going to make a comment about that once I play this clip.
That was Nancy Pelosi pushing out Joe Biden. Now, is she trying to push out Chuck Schumer? Because for the first time, she delivered a sharp rebuke in public to Senator Chuck Schumer over his support of the House GOP spending bill. The breaking news is the Senate Democrats is now moving to say yes to pass it. But Nancy Pelosi said Democrat senators should listen to Democrat women in the Senate. Joining us now, Fox News political analyst Lisa Booth.
Lisa, I feel like we need popcorn together watching this.
Did you ever see this one coming, that Pelosi would publicly rebuke Schumer?
It's bad for the left right now. We need popcorn watching this together. But Liz, this is what happens when you have a power vacuum. You've got all these warring factions trying to figure out what's next for the Democrat Party. And obviously, they're in complete disarray right now. We're seeing this generational divide. I mean, Nancy Pelosi already stepped down from leadership in the House. Chuck Schumer is obviously still there in the Senate. And they're in an ideological divide as well. You look at the squad with AOC very upset, obviously, with Chuck Schumer going ahead and moving forward with this. And so they're trying to figure out what's next for the Democrat Party because they've been so badly defeated by President Trump that, they're trying to find their bearings and they're trying to figure out what's next for the party. And this is bearing fruit right now. That's what we're witnessing.
Interesting. Let's get your take on their chummier days. Watch this.
Chuck was masterful.
Well,
he was masterful.
She set him up so I could go in for the kill.
No, but he was masterful.
So, Mr. President, will you own the shutdown? Yes, I will. And that was, thank you very much.
It's kind of crazy. So what do you think? Should the Democrat senators, listen to the women?
I don't think that is it at all. I think there could be a couple of scenarios here. One, Nancy Pelosi cannot take down Chuck Schumer. They have too much dirt on each other. So what we're looking at is somewhat of a political theater aspect because they don't know what they want to do. So they're like, you play this hand, I'll play this hand, and we'll act like, we're at odds. But these two can never be at odds. All of the mess that they've pulled, all the shenanigans that they've put in place against President Trump, things they've covered up. We're talking about January 6th. So we've got all these documents and so on coming out. will it be every man for themselves? I'll put my money on Nancy Pelosi before I put my money on Chuck Schumer. Nancy Pelosi, like I've said before, she is the most savage politician in the chambers, and she has tentacles everywhere. She takes no for an answer. She won't take no for an answer. And I do think that with all of the light being shed on all the misconduct in our Senate and our legislative branches, I think Nancy always has a plan, and I think she always comes out on top.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about Nancy having tentacles. I mean, if you want to talk about crime families, the Nancy has a huge network of crime family. You talk about the Biden crime family, the Clintons, the Pelosi crime family is right up there, and no one really wants to cross the Pelosi crime family. And you know, like you say, it's all theatrics, it's all theater. Neither one of them really wanted the government shut down because they know it would look bad on them. You know, even I was looking at a poll. Even Democrats said that 32% of Democrats said that they would think that it would be the Democrats' fault, and only like 21 Trump's fault, and another 30-something% the GOP fault. But when you talk to Democrats, they were actually going to blame it, and Chuck Schumer knew that. You know, he couldn't go down like that. And you know, like I say, it's all theatrics. They're not ever going to shut down the government. They'll stop getting their paychecks. Their constituents will stop getting their paychecks, and they don't want to have to go face their constituents. So, you know, I don't think that would ever happen in 100 years myself.
And then you have to look at, where AOC is playing in this situation. AOC took a triple back seat to Jasmine Crockett. So this is Nancy Pelosi's way of realizing, hey, Jasmine Crockett, being the face of the Democrat Party, is driving us into the gutter. So let's bring AOC back. It's always a plan. Democrats always have a plan. No matter how much in disarray they may seem, there's always a plan. They've been through it before. They know too many people. They can pull some strings. Never think that Democrats are in the gutter and at a full loss, because that will never be the case as long as Nancy Pelosi is sitting in that seat.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of ARC on this CR, here she is.
So much for being here. So on social media, you've been urging people to call their senators, tell them to vote no on cloture, which allows the bill to go forward for a vote of just a simple majority, and to vote no on the vote for a simple majority on the Republican bill. What do you say to the counter argument of like a government shutdown hurts the country, hurts the people you represent from Queens and the Bronx?
Absolutely. And that is why House Democrats have laid out a plan, as well as several Senate Democrats laid out a plan to keep government open for another 30 days as Republicans negotiate a deal with Democrats in order to have an extended government funding bill.
But the House would have to come back into session, right?
But House Democrats are in town. We're afraid of working? Is that the problem here? That the idea that, God forbid, members of Congress have to fly back and do their jobs? Okay. Genuinely, come on.
So Chuck Schumer, I guess the Senate Democratic leader, your senator, said at this meeting that he is going to vote for cloture. He is going to vote to allow there to be a simple majority vote. You think that's wrong?
I believe that's a tremendous mistake. Yes.
Why?
I think, well, first and foremost, the American people, if anyone has held a town hall or has seen what has been happening in town halls, American people, whether they are Republicans, independents, Democrats, are up in arms about Elon Musk and the actual gutting of federal agencies.
I'm going to stop right. And to be clear, let's be clear. I don't know of any Republicans that are upset about Elon Musk and what Doge is doing, because that's what we voted for. We totally voted. We knew that Elon Musk, what he was going to do prior to the election. Trump ran on it. He was, with him at the rally. So why do they think Republicans are mad? This is the thing. They have these paid influencers, even though they claim that they're not. They have these paid people going up into these Republican town halls, pretending that they're Republicans, causing ruckus, causing, some hate and discontent. So if you people really believe that Republicans are pissed off about what Doge is doing, no. You might say Republicans are pissed off with Pam Bondi right now, but definitely not with Elon Musk, right?
Well, Elon is taking a hit, by, your savage, whatever you want to call them, Antifa, liberals, you know,
terrorists.
basically, you know, damaging and terrorizing Tesla shops and automobiles. And, you know, it's a sad case, I think, right now for America, because when Joe Biden when Joe Biden was installed in 2020, we did not act like Democrats did at the congressional address. We didn't terrorize the country. And I feel that Democrats need to stand up. They need to get their people in line. They need to ring in these conservatives and round these people up and say, hey, this is now about the country. But them not doing that, I think, shows that they do not care about the country. And since Trump is in office, they would prefer for it to all be burned down. So I really think that Trump is going to have to pass some legislation, just like he did with these protesters at colleges and so on and so forth. I think that same swift hand needs to happen with these people who are being destructive on Elon Musk's property, people's properties that they've spent, their life savings wanting to buy a Tesla, people damaging them. I think that's got to stop. And I think there needs to be, some type of, swift hand of justice for that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think they should get prosecuted under the Domestic Terrorism Act. So I'm going to finish with AOC. Then I'm going to play another clip of her, because right here, she's describing about how, she's not for the filibuster, or that she is for the filibuster, that it shouldn't be. All right, so I'm going to finish playing this, and then I'm going to play another clip to where she's the opposite.
Across the board, this continuing resolution codifies much of this chaos that Elon Musk is wreaking havoc on the federal government. It codifies many of those changes. It sacrifices and completely eliminates congressional authority in order to review these impulsive Trump tariffs that he's switching on and off. And on top of that, for folks who are concerned about effectiveness in government, this Republican extreme spending bill removes all of the guardrails and all of the accountability measures to ensure that money is being spent in the way that Congress has directed for it to be spent. This turns the federal government into a slush fund for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It sacrifices congressional authority. And
I'm going to stop right there, too, because it's just so many lies built up in here, and people need to understand this. This is the same exact bill that Joe Biden had in December. The same exact bill. Okay, the same spending, 1.7 trillion. The only change is you get more in the DOD. I mean, in the Department of Defense. I think a little more goes there. And I mean, but it's the same spending. There are virtually no spending cuts. It's the same exact freaking bill, right?
I mean, they have to come up with their choice, hashtag words. If you listen to the words that she used, sacrifice, eliminate, codify, this is a planned speech. They run these things like, they ride a bicycle. So you have to understand, when Democrats speak, you have to listen to what they say, because it's always carefully drafted out and delivered the same. So I always listen to their code words.
Right, exactly.
So and I know exactly why they're saying it and where they're going with it.
Yep, absolutely. Here you go.
it is deeply partisan. And so to me, it is almost unthinkable why Senate Democrats would vote to hand the few pieces of leverage that we have away for free when we've been sent here to protect Social Security, protect Medicaid, and protect Medicare.
And this bill does nothing, does absolutely nothing with Medicaid, Social Security, or any of that, right?
But they have to drag that in there to impose.
Yeah, for the Democrats, for their base.
Social Security and Medicare. So, it's just the beat of the drum is old. We can see it a mile away. Fortunately, we are in power now. So what they say, what they do, it really is almost irrelevant. They're just dead voices right now. And it's unfortunate that they refuse to reach across the aisle and try and work with this administration to possibly get some things done, to have a seat at the table. Now they don't want to even sit down. You saw them walk out during the congressional address. It was embarrassing. I think that has to do a lot to do with these poll numbers that came out. 27% approval for Democrats right now. It's their own fault, and they deserve everything that they get.
Right, and like I said, their words, it's not even working on their base anymore. Their base is pissed, right? I'm going to play some clips. They are losing their base, like you say, 29% approval rating, and so they can no longer blame Democrats. I mean, Republicans, like they tried to do, and like she's trying to do here.
You have expressed opposition to government shutdowns in the past. Here's your very first speech on the House floor.
It is not normal to shut down the government when we don't get what we want. It is not normal for public servants to run away and hide from the public that they serve. And it is certainly not normal to starve the people we serve for a proposal that is wildly unpopular among the American people.
Now, I get that you hate this continuing resolution. You don't think it's a good bill, but the alternative is likely a government shutdown.
Well, the alternative is to agree on a 30-day stopgap to keep government open as negotiated. The proposal is in front of the House. The proposal is on the Senate. Republicans had time to seek Democratic votes, and we can extend that time for them to seek that.
But we know they're never going to get the votes, so why waste the time, right? They say, we need 30 days. They just want to keep picking.
I said, is it or did she gain a lot of weight? Her face looks really fat to me, which is strange. But
they say she may be pregnant. She's on the abortion thing. She pushes abortion, right? But I think she's going to have a baby. So imagine that. So they say she's pregnant. So we'll see. I don't know for sure. Allegedly, she may be having a baby. So she's not going to abort her kid.
Because she's got to drink and stay drunk to deal with what's going on.
Well, you know what? It might be the alcohol too, or she might just be getting fat. Shit.
Right. That's what I said. It's alcohol.
She might just be getting fat, man, because all of them have to drink and stay drunk because they're getting their asses handed to them and they don't know what to do. So let's finish this one.
Vote. Once again, we can come back. We can fly back. We can vote on this. We can get a stopgap measure, extend the amount of time to negotiate while we figure out a solution here for the American people. And I also agree, again, I maintain that position that government shutdowns, we can keep the government open with a 30-day clean CR. And on top of that, I also maintain the position that government officials and public servants should not be hiding from the public the way that Republicans are hiding and being instructed to not host town halls right now because of the outrage among the American public around their attempts to cut Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare.
My understanding is that your other senator, another Democrat, Kirsten Gillibrand, also thinks that the Democrats should vote to go forward with this spending bill, unlike Senator Tim Kaine that we just heard from. And my guess is, I don't speak for either Schumer or Gillibrand, but my guess would be if they were here, they'd say, you're being naive. It's really just a choice between voting for a government shutdown or voting not for a government shutdown. People aren't going to come back. It just doesn't happen that way. Again, that's not me. I imagine that that's what they would say to you.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that Senate Democrats think that it is beyond wildest convention for us to come back, but House Democrats have done that before. The House has reconvened in emergency sessions before. I've certainly voted on the floor of Congress they've even called us back from August recess before. This idea that it is beyond the scope of imagination for us to come back from vacation is just not an acceptable answer for the American public.
I want to play something that President Trump said earlier today. Take a listen.
If it's shut down, it's only going to be, if there's a shutdown, it's only because of the Democrats, and they would really be taking away a lot from our country and from the people of our country.
Your colleagues, House Republicans, are already using the term Schumer shutdown, which has that nice alliterative style. Are you not worried at all about Democrats taking the heat for the shutdown?
We know, and the American people are not going to have the wool pulled over their eyes. Everybody knows that Donald Trump is president, that Republicans have the Senate, and Republicans have the House. They have the keys to the entire United States government. And if
boom, because we won, bitch.
Right?
Because we won, right? You guys had it. You guys had it and pushed through everything you wanted to try to push through with Obama, right? You guys had everything and you tried to usher in this Marxist communist style government. Look at what Joe Biden did as 4 years as president.
We didn't know who was doing what supposedly Joe Biden was doing. So
Yeah, because I heard that auto pen was working. Whoever had the auto pen was running the government, is the way I understand it.
They were the people who actually rigged the election, which no one still has come forth in this administration to bring this to light. We still want answers. We have not forgotten. We want to know who it was that shut down the counting at 3
Right.
a.m. That is the entity or group or power that is running that same auto pen. So I think this administration owes it to us for nothing else but for the sake of factual truth and closing this chapter on what happened in 2020. I think that needs to happen.
Oh, absolutely. I think that needs to happen. People still need to be held accountable because that was a coup in 2021 to win a coup. And that was the first time in American history that we just stopped counting. Why? And nobody has been held accountable for that. Isn't that strange, right? Nobody has been arrested. There's no accountability. Who authorized to stop the count?
We
Great
have
question.
to demand that. I mean, that's something that I'm going to demand. I mean, I think President Trump
Absolutely.
has his hands full right now. Us striking Yemen for whatever reason. I mean, that's not our war. We didn't have any issues. That was out of why are we in this war? President Trump said he would be the president of peace, but we're fighting other people's wars, and that's not in the best interest of America first. And that is where I think Americans who are supposed to be patriots are supposed to step in and say, hey, we don't have anything to do with Yemen. Yemen didn't do anything to us. Why are we bombing Yemen? These are our tax dollars. Are we, as our voters and taxpayers, are we also in debt to probably the military industrial complex that helped usher in money for Trump to be elected? Let us know what's going on. Don't hide it from us and just do these attacks, and we're sitting here wondering, and then some sleeper cell in the United States comes and blows up something, and then we want to play the victim. It can't keep happening. This is where I disagree with Trump. These wars
Absolutely.
are not ours. They are Israel's wars. They're nothing that we should have, we haven't talked to Yemen. That's the thing. We haven't even had a conversation with these people. And now we're bombing them. And I think that's detrimental to America first. It's detrimental to the safety in this country. You cannot stop every sleeper cell that you went and you bombed somebody's brother and you killed their little sister and their 2-year-old cousin. You can't stop that. The only way that you prevent that is if you stay out of these wars that do not concern the United States of America.
Facts, absolutely. And I'm not going to play any more of this. Hey, well, I think
we know what she's going to say.
Well, I know we know what she's going to say, but because she's trying to be the smart one now. She's trying to be the intellectual because because like you said, they got stupid ass Jasmine Crockett.
Exactly.
When it's somebody that when they need somebody to say something stupid, she's going to come up every single time, and AOC is going to take the back seat and try to be the intellectual. But here we go. I have to finish.
Republicans wanted to avert a shutdown. They can. If they need Democratic votes, then they can negotiate with Democrats to get those votes. It is simple.
Okay, and we did, and Chuck Schumer, we did. So that's enough for her right there. Because Democrats, they just lie to your face. I mean, this is what they do. Now, you just heard it was 29%, or 27%. I'm going to play this CNN clip too. Because when CNN is busting the Democrat Party out,
yeah, it's bad.
It's bad. It is detrimental when CNN is on your ass and CNN is actually posting numbers that's good about Trump and bad about the Democrat Party. That it's like catastrophic over there in the Democrat Party. And I'm gonna play this clip. Then I'm gonna play Hakeem Jeffries first because this dude would just lie to your face. And I don't know. I didn't keep a straight face when they do this. Here we go.
The Republicans on the run on three different issues. We have them on the run.
And before he finished, I want to, you guys can't see this, but it goes back to October. Okay, so this is inflation. Goes back to last October, and it comes. This is the Joe Biden, blah, 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 and this is Trump. This is inflation after Trump. Okay, right here. This is February, March. This is March 2025. This is where inflation is right now. Now listen to this wipe. I want to say ass wipe, but listen to this guy. Sit here and lie to you.
With respect to the economy, Donald Trump and House Republicans promised that they were going to lower the high cost of living. But instead, costs haven't gone down. They've gone up. Inflation is going up. Why? Because Donald Trump and Republicans haven't been focused on doing anything to lower the high cost of living. Not a single bill, not a single executive action, not a single administrative order. We, as House Democrats, have to make sure we forcefully make the case to everyday Americans that we are trying to build an affordable economy. We know that costs are too high, and we know that people are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck, and that should never happen in the wealthiest country in the history of the world. We got to hold the line as it relates to the economic narrative, and we see that Trump's poll numbers are collapsing in that regard.
Food of the country.
Hold on
This
one second.
really jumped
Here
out.
we
We
go.
asked folks, is it on the right direction or the wrong direction? That 44%, you say right direction, that's up since November. And if that doesn't seem like a lot, the last time it cracked 40%, you got to go back to 2012. The last time it actually hit 44 or higher, January of 2004.
January 2004, 44%, everybody think, 44% of people believe that the country is going in the right direction. Hakeem Jeffries is just a liar.
You know, actually, I don't know when he said that, but on Friday, $1.3 trillion was added to the economy. In actuality, the Fed should cut interest rates right now. Because
Right now, this is right.
to
Exactly.
turn this
Boom.
over, turn this around very quickly. So Hakeem Jeffries, he didn't even know what he was saying. If you listen to him, he made absolutely no sense. He just had to say something negative, and it came out stupidly, and he looked stupid because the numbers show otherwise. And we're very proud of President Trump for, pushing that, fist into the economy.
No, absolutely. And for anyone that doubts that, just go get gas. Just go fill your car up. Right? It's at the gas pump right now. And I know, people say, well, the president don't, the gas prices are, the president doesn't have anything to do with that. Yeah, it does when you're talking about inflation. When you're talking about inflation, you're talking about different deals, and you're talking about bringing money back into the economy. It has a whole lot to do with it. You're talking about tariffs, and I was watching Bill Maher, and there was a leftist female on Bill Maher's show that actually schooled him about tariffs. A lot of people don't understand about tariffs, but I have a clip here on Bill Maher, and she actually is with President Trump on tariffs and gives a great explanation on it. Here we go.
The reason people want to go back to the 70s is in the 70s, the largest share of our GDP was in the middle class. And that was not separate from the fact that 25% of our economy was in manufacturing. Our economy was an upward funnel of wealth, and the largest share, which used to be in manufacturing, which gave a lot of working class people a middle class standard of living, now the largest share is in real estate and finance. That manufacturing is still being done. It's just being done in other countries. It is still
for wages we will not work for.
That's exactly right. You're right, Bill. That's what the tariffs are for. They are to make American workers more competitive in the global market. Why are we accepting that there should be a race to the bottom? China, what is its competitive advantage over us? It's that it pays slave wages. Why should we accept that? They're still manufacturing our PPE, our pharmaceuticals, our cars. They're making all that stuff. Trump says there are 5 industries that we cannot have any kind of national security without having a stake in them. Pharmaceuticals, lumber, steel, aluminum, and I forget what the 5th one was. But these are really important, that we have a stake in the manufacturing of the things that we need as a nation, so that when China decides that it wants to go to war against us, we're not relying on them for steel and aluminum in order to fight them.
Okay, well, at least that's an answer.
That's the correct answer.
An answer. That's interesting. I think she's, 75% right. I think there's still a lot more to the tariff situation than she explained. But for the most part, she did capture what I think, Trump is trying to do with these tariffs, basically making other countries pay their fair share of what we've been paying for all of these years. And I think that's a fine policy agenda for this administration. And I stand with him on that.
Yeah, I definitely stand with him on the tariffs. But I think more than that, I think Trump is using the tariffs to force these countries to come back to the United States and do all manufacturing here in the United States. Because, because like she said, why should we have to depend on another country to get our steel and aluminum? And we might be at war with them. It's like, hey, can we have some steel so we can go to war with you, man? Hey, can we have some PPE because you guys might actually drop some shit on us over here, some biological weapons, and we're going to need our PPE to protect ourselves to keep fighting you. That makes absolutely no sense. That makes absolutely no sense that we rely on any other country for anything, especially our medications and our pharmaceuticals like we do China. I mean, I thought that was like the dumbest thing ever in the world to, outsource everything that we need here in the United States, whether it's with because of the trade deals, the NAFTA, whatever. You can't, give someone else the ability to not service your needs because they're making it and we don't. I mean, it's just preposterous. So I honestly think that all that the tariffs is for that, and like I say, to definitely make them pay their fair share and to put it on a regular, level. I like the reciprocal tariffs, right? You charge us 25%, we're going to charge you 25%. Okay, let's do this, right? I think that's definitely going to be better for the United States. It's definitely going to be better for the American worker back here and getting rid of the illegals where they use these illegals for the slave labor here in the United States like they do in China, so they don't have to pay a fair wage to Americans here. And that's what happened to the middle class because these illegals basically are undercutting the market. They come in, they live 20, people to a house, and these foreign, I say foreign, because some of them are not illegal, they are legal, but they hire these illegal workers and they can underbid American contractors or American, roofers or painters here in the United States that have to actually pay American wages, and they end up losing their businesses and losing their jobs because of that. So, I definitely think that that's going to help the Americans. And, E-Verify too. Let's get these people that's illegally not legal here to work and pay Americans.
I mean, every time we see this influx of 31 million illegals had a twofold result. One, it was to make sure that Democrats would be a one-party, government till infinity. But two, when we see that many illegals allowed to enter this country, it's always to disrupt the wages of American people. So I think, we saw the Venezuelans get, sent to Ecuador or wherever it was, and we saw the big display of them dragging them in and shaving their heads, the Trena de Aqua, great. But we had 31 million illegals be allowed into this country. And until it is that we can have a civilian task force, we the people need to help eradicate these illegals. We cannot put this on the president. We cannot put it on his administration. They do not have the power. 31 million is a lot of people. So I think that they need to figure out a task force, a civilian task force, to work with the federal task force to help eliminate the illegals in this country. Because while they're still here, American workers are still going to not be able to be employed. They won't have solid wages. So I think, in my opinion, that would be my plan that I would present to this administration. You need a civilian task force. I've been to Walmart 3-4 times, called ICE because there's 50 illegals in Walmart. Nobody ever shows up, no response. Then they desecrate that, portion of ICE that was coming out to places because they had people who were rats and moles inside, letting people know where ICE were going to show up. So unless you bring in a civilian task force dedicated to that, we're not going to be able to fix this problem. So I'm hoping Trump, they have now, if you want to self-deport, call this number.
The CBP app.
Who's going to self-deport?
Nobody. No, nobody.
Nobody. So it's like,
Nobody.
who's in charge of, outside of Tom Homan? And I think, he's doing what he can to get the most dangerous off the street. But at the end of the day, 31 million, that was the influx that we had. That is only solvable with the American people.
And speaking of Tom, he's doing a great job. He's doing what he can. He needs money. Talk to him. He needs money. Do the thing. And with this CR, they're going to get the money for that. I think that's one thing that changed. More money is going to go to the border protection, or to help him remove these illegals. And when you talk about that, though, I think one of the things need to happen first. They need to make examples out of some of these mayors and governors. They need to arrest their ass. The ones that aren't cooperating, the ones that are continuing to sanctuary cities, they need to be arrested. I mean, don't say you're going to do it and not do it. I think they need to be made examples, move them out of the way. And also, there's plenty of veterans, right? There's plenty of veterans in this company that would gladly be part of that task force. Easy. You deputize whatever you need to do, to make them part of Department of Homeland Security, ICE, part of Tom Homan's team. And yeah, it could be easily done in each state. I mean, and that way it could be quicker. Now, the money, the funding, the transportation, that may be an issue, but we have a lot of jets. We have plenty of jets in the Air Force. We have plenty of jets in the Navy, Marine Army. We have military aircraft that can move these people easily.
We have holding centers until they can figure out the transportation issue. But the situation is we need to be moving sooner or later. Trump is going to be here for another 3 years in a few months. We've got to get on this situation because who knows, by the next time we have an election, what Democrats are going to be able to pull, if they're going to be able to, like they're showing, illegals how to evade being deported by ICE, if they'll show them how to evade being able to be caught when they're trying to go and vote at the polls. 31 million tips an election.
Absolutely. And that was definitely, that's what these sanctuary cities are for, because now I guess the law is that they can be counted in the census, which in my opinion is totally preposterous, and illegal should not be counted in the census here in the United States. You're only citizens. And that's why Guru President Trump, that question on the census of citizenship has to be on there, because only citizens should be counted. If you're not a citizen in this United States, because like you say, you can sway an election. And how do you sway an election? Because of people, population, right? You get Congress members by population. They don't even have to vote. They don't even have to vote them in. You get, just because of, the number of congressional representatives that you have in your district is based on population. So if they're counting these illegals on population, New York may get 2 more congressmen. California may get 2 more congressmen. So it's all about the election, and not really the illegal voting, but the congressional seats. And if they get 2 more seats, those 2 more Democrat seats, that reverses everything, of the House. Because I think they're only down by 2 seats or something like that, right? So that will, the 3 seats, so that will reverse, the entire makeup of the Congress just by adding congressmen. And this is what the illegal immigration was about, to get more seats in Congress to have control. That's what this illegal immigration, illegal alien invasion, it's not even an immigration, but invasion actually was about, and that was control of Congress.
Well, I'm just going to say, we are going to watch, I will say, watch through the end of this month to see what that next step is after this show of force with the Venezuelans. I don't want it to be theater. We were told we were going to get the Epstein, JFK, MLK files. Now Trump said again yesterday or today, hey, you're going to get it in the coming weeks. What does that mean? Are we going to get redacted information? Who are you protecting? Why would you just not release it all? That's what you promised. That's what you said you were going to do. Release it all. And it leads to trepidation of, what are you doing? Who are you protecting? And I don't want to ever look at President Trump like that. But from what we've seen and where Pam Bondi is and where there's been the lack of discussion and the lack of accountability, when it was them who announced, we wanted it, but we weren't on the timeline. They gave us the timeline. And then no go. Right. So, I'm trepidatious in believing in that statement that we'll get all that unredacted, free for our investigation, and not what they want to cut and paste out to us.
Right. I mean, and I've had discussions with people. I post shit and truth stuff, right? And people like, especially about Pam Bondi. I'm like, hey, you said tomorrow. It's like 2 weeks from tomorrow, right? And like you said, the stuff that they released was bullshit. They did some theater with some of these bullshit influencers. I mean, that was very, very, one, it was very, very tacky. 2, you're supposed to have a task force with Luna, and she's bitching about it because she hasn't gotten anything. She didn't even get a binder that day, so why have a task force if we are relying on Pam Bondi to release everything? And then, like you say, Trump said, okay, a couple weeks. Okay, what does that mean? I mean, I put some stuff out there. I put on Facebook. I mean, it's right there in the FBI vault. I mean, if you don't want to know, and I'm thinking what she's going to release is the same shit that's already available. Same stuff that's already available. We're not going to get any names. We're not going to get any names that matter. You know, we know, and they've said it, you know, and they have the video. I mean, Pam Bondi, you was the AG in Florida when you guys raided Epstein's home and took everything out of his home. You took files, you took pictures, you took videos out of his home in Florida.
By the way, that's exactly why she was appointed, because she was on site. She knows what was there. They had to protect that, so they appointed her. That's why she's in that position. Not that she's actually what we need, but she's in that position because of her loyalty from that incident.
And nothing from that incident has been released. I mean, you have it. I mean, you have that. You know, what happened to that evidence? What happened to all of those videos? I mean, if you guys seen it, it's just, oh, I've seen it and it's disgusting. Okay, well, if it's so disgusting, and we know by the trial, you know, they said, well, we got to make sure that all the information was redacted and those witnesses were protected in the trials. They were called Jane Doe 1, Jane Doe 2, Jane Doe 3. None of their information was put out. The grand jury information, a lot of shit was already redacted. It's already covered. They're already protected. Why are you now coming out saying, and we discussed this last week, and I'm just going to keep going because it's like, you know, I think it's bullshit. You know, why you keep saying, well, we have to make sure that that the victims are protected. You've already done that. That's already been done. That's all right. Who are you really protecting? Who are you really protecting?
Saying that it's really salacious, it's really gross. That's a damn lie. People watch the Jeffrey Dahmer movie, okay? People can handle whatever it is. That's a goddamn lie. And I hate it when I have to look at this new administration on what it is that they're, you know, holding back, and why is it that they're holding back when you ran on transparency. I stand with President Trump on everything but Israel, because I think Israel also has a lot to play with this Epstein situation.
Everything. He was a Mossad agent. He was a Mossad agent. Come on.
It's unfortunate that Israel is dividing our country. You know, you have people who are woken up to, we don't need to be in these extraordinary wars, these extracurricular wars, these outside wars that aren't our battles. And I don't want my tax dollars going to give $41 billion to Israel. They already get enough money from us. Without us, Israel fails. And at the same time, they're destroying us. And people say, well, we're supposed to stand with Israel because it's in the Bible. Let me just tell you something. Israel doesn't even recognize Jesus. Jews don't recognize Jesus Christ. How can you stand with someone who does not recognize your faith? Even Islam, we recognize Jesus Christ.
Jesus, right.
So I'm trying to figure out what this whole thing is, how we got to this point where you can't say anything about Israel. You can't say anything about these wars that our money is going to, because then you're an anti-Semite. That doesn't make me an anti-Semite. That makes me want the best for my country. That makes me want my tax dollars to go to America and stay in America. That makes me not stupid. And that's what I'm trying to not get, you know, just in a disarray because of this, but I'm trying to figure out what is it going to take for people to realize we do not have to stand with any other country. We should be America first and America only. And I guarantee you our country will turn around a lot faster. We're worried about Ukraine. Ukraine is a headache. Israel's a headache. We don't need these headaches. You know what you do when you don't need headaches? You drop them. And I guarantee you this country would be on a fast track to success. But these things are dividing us. And why? Who was it that allowed this predicament to happen to where now it's bidding American against American? It's not cool at all. I don't want, it's Ramadan right now. All over X, you got Laura Loomer, Gunther Engelman. Islam has no place in Western society. Let me just tell you something. I put my life on the line for this country. I am more loyal to this country than you sitting back on Twitter. You can Google it. And when you tell me my faith has no place in here after I fought for your freedom, still fighting for your freedoms because the case is still going, who are you? You're not Christian. You're somebody who you purport to be a Christian because we recognize Jesus Christ. Jews do not. and you're siding with something that doesn't what you proclaim to be your core fundamentals, your foundation. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? But don't ever say Islam does not have a place here, because I have a place here. I have a place here, and none of you can take that away from me, and none of you can discredit what I've done for your freedoms and for the freedoms of this country.
Facts, 100, 100. And, you know, because like Ben Shapiro, when he said, you know, Bill, you know, he's one of those Israeli, you know, I think he's an asset myself. But, you know, he even said that, you know, Jesus Christ was some dude that did something bad and got killed for it. Those were his words. I was trying to, I actually have the clip somewhere. But that's what he said, you know, and, you know, you hit that. How do you even support, you know, someone that, or some people that don't even support your faith, and they do not believe that Jesus Christ was the Son of God? And those are facts. Those are
Charlie
facts.
Kirk that, you know, was talking to a Palestinian Christian, and he was saying, well, I'm glad to hear that you're a Palestinian Christian, but do you not believe that in the Bible it says that Christians should honor the Jews? We don't honor anybody but God, okay? And nobody else.
It doesn't say that.
You know,
I mean, you know, here's the
look
thing.
at Charlie Kirk different. It's like, you cannot push this on people who are smarter. The gentleman was being respectful because he just didn't want to debate him because he knew better. And, you know, I think that soundbite of Charlie Kirk's was just utterly ignorant. You know, Israel now is not the Israel of the Bible. And I think people need to just take a step back and really look at what they're being fed and what they're not allowed to criticize and who they're not allowed to talk about. This is America. We have people getting arrested on campuses, not to talk about the kids that broke the law. Yes, send them all to jail. But this is a place where you can protest. You can peacefully protest here. And when you do protest, you get called a jihadist. You get called, you know, I think Christians need to step. I don't know who all it is. It's just a plethora of people who purport to be patriots, who have used this lingo, these catchphrases, and everybody's a jihadist, everybody's a terrorist. You guys are some of the biggest terrorists around. America has killed more babies, started more wars than any country on this planet. So I need that people just, you know, calm your horses down. Look inside look at you. Look at you before you talk about somebody else. That's what I think American patriots need to do.
Well, you know, the ones that actually understand actually do that. And I'm going to play a clip here. Now, this was from the Tucker Carlson show. And this clip from General McMaster's, and I think he was spot on at this, to be honest.
He handled Zelensky is the way he's got to handle Netanyahu, because if he doesn't, Netanyahu will drag him into the abyss, because he wants this war in the Middle East come hell or high water, and it's not in their interest.
What war?
The war with Iran, the war with everybody. I mean, you've seen these settings where Netanyahu sits at a table and he's got everybody around him in his cabinet, and he says, this is our opportunity to settle with everyone. We're fighting on 5 fronts. No, we're fighting on 7 fronts. And he starts ticking off, you know, everyone from the Houthis to the militias in Iraq and Syria and now Iran and so forth. If you look at the map today, he's trying to occupy Syria all the way up to the edge of Damascus. And Erdogan, who is a very clever but slippery character, has already said, forget it. We're not going to tolerate that in southern Syria. So he's pushing the envelope to the very edge. In Damascus, there are 3 great Islamic cities in the region. One is Cairo, the other is Jerusalem, and then Damascus. They're not going to surrender Damascus to the Israelis. So whatever happens, the Turks will eventually become involved. They'll march in.
And this is the thing you were talking about, you know, with the Houthis and everything, because I mean, you know, and I wasn't going to talk about Israel tonight, but I know, but my show is unscripted. So this is how we do on my show. We take it anywhere we go, right? Whatever comes up. I mean, but, you know, I mean, we can't continue to fight Israel's wars. You know, next week, it was going to be a surprise, but I'm going to put it out there now. I have Phil Turney tomorrow. Next week, next Sunday. Phil Turney is a survivor from the USS Liberty, and he's going to tell us the story about what happened that day when Israel attacked the USS Liberty. He's going to be on next week. So Guys, make sure you tune in next week if you want the story. All right, but I mean, this is the thing. I mean, this is the whole Greater Israel thing. This is all about Greater Israel. I don't give a shit. You can call me whatever you want to call me. Okay. This whole thing with Gaza, this whole thing, with the West Bank, this whole thing, they're bombing Syria now, paying, Al Qaeda in Syria to take out Assad. The shit that's happening in Syria right now wasn't happening when Assad was there. This was all about, now we have to go to war with Syria because we have these bad guys there that's killing Christians. So now we're going to have to go to war because for humanitarian reasons, we're going to have to go into Syria because Al Qaeda is there. Well, fuck, we paid them. We put them there. We funded them to take down Assad. And so now we're bombing them in Syria. We're bombing in Iran. We're bombing, but this whole thing, make no mistake about it, is for this Greater Israel. I mean, the soldiers, the IDF guys are already wearing the patches on their uniforms, the Greater Israel patches on their uniforms, and we can't do that. And we can't allow, I agree with McMaster's, dude, you're going to have to tell Netanyahu, fuck you too. Basically just like you told, Zelensky, we can't fight this war. There's no way. We have too much. We're still 36 trillion in debt, hopefully to go down, but we're broke as a country. And of course, the military industrial complex, this is how we survive as a country. We export war. We export.
Even shout out President Trump for taking out the head of ISIS. I'm going to give him kudos for that because that's
I love it. Take him out. Take him out.
Necessary. But it's baffling for Americans to even want to think that we should follow Israel, fund Israel on issues that we have no interest in. And what happens is we end up creating interior terrorists. Okay, people who would be living here, not causing any problem, contributing to the economy. Now you just killed their whole family. And for what reason? America had no interest in it. So we're creating our own terrorism. Like you said, we funded Al Qaeda. We funded ISIS.
We funded both sides.
Okay. We funded it all. And then we want to play victim. Americans, wake up. Someday it can hit your front door and then you actually pay the price for something we were never supposed to be involved in the first place. And Americans don't want to see that. They're always, peace through strength, peace through strength. Just peace, because we can have peace and we can rebuild this economy without destroying other countries, being involved in issues that have no interest to the American people. That's really what I would like. These American patriots who say, okay, well, yes, we need to support Israel and they're our biggest ally. Your ally is getting your butt kicked. Your ally is stealing your tax dollars. Your ally is leading you into wars that you have no right being in. Your ally is making all of us murderers unnecessarily. So are they our ally? Or are they continuing to use me, you, Americans at large for their interests, which is what it truly, truly seems like?
Well, we would be in no wars. We never would have won in Iraq if it wasn't because of the lies that started with Netanyahu. Okay. I mean, they supposedly was the people that we were listening to get the information, right? And they gave us bogus information. So that war never would have, so those lives never would have been lost. We never would have went in, to Iraq. There was no reason to go into Iraq. We probably never would have had the war with Afghanistan. Even though you claim, people say, well, 9/11, we did it because of 9/11. That's bullshit. And I'll tell you now, that's bullshit. That's something else that has to come out that will probably never come out too. I have so many stories, so many true stories, so many, from around the country that, of course, and you can see it for yourself. 9/11 was to get us into Iraq and to get us, and 9/11 was planned years before, by the way. But that's going to be another show too.
And announced. I remember H.W. Bush saying, in I think it was 1999, something like that. He was like, we will enter the New World Order. But that was
Senior
in the Patriot Act, because we truly lost so many freedoms willingly. I remember September 11th. And I owned a store downtown Chicago, and every business decided to close their business. And I was the only business on the Gold Coast that remained open. And there were so many people who didn't even want to be at home because they were afraid to be at home. I was the only place open. They all came into my store. They all ended up spending money. And thank God I stayed open that day, because for the next 2 weeks, there was no business. So this is what it cost the economy. It cost the fear in Americans. Speed up to 2020, then we get it all over again with COVID. You know, it's these destructional plans by the larger powers, the people who keep the politicians in office, the people who elect the puppets. You've got, you know, Macron's husband, who's a man, you know, all of these, Joe Biden, all of these people are disposable, control puppets. And these are how these people get put in office, because they carry and outline, you know, an agenda. And so for people like you that ran for Congress, and then you know the powers that be that you're running against, you know, for me, I'm going to run for Senate. I have not announced. I've put together an exploratory committee. I'm going to run, but I know what I'm dealing with. I know who I have to be friends with in order to get it done, because I'm running to win and to win only. And so, you know, we've got so many different puppets who they throw money behind to keep them in the offices and in the seats so that they can continue to outline their agendas. But, you know, somebody, you know, you have to run. I think running for office has to be a different strategy now. We are in the era of Donald Trump. Anything you say goes. We're in the era of Jasmine Crockett. There's the ghetto, say what you will, curse if you want. We're in a different era of running, or candidacy of running for office. So I plan to implement that in a very, very, you know, intelligent strategy, layout, rollout, and I'm planning on definitely representing this country on a federal level.
Well, is that Illinois?
I'm not going to say.
Okay. Because I know you have a few choices. Go to Texas. Go to Texas, run against some of them folks. All right, but yeah, or New York. Yeah, I can see. You know, I could definitely see you there. I mean, you know, and you know, you're right. I mean, because there's so much money. There's so much money that's against you. I mean, they spent $7 million against me, right? $7 million. I was that big of a threat to them, to the voting for Kevin McCarthy, you know, speaker, you know, that he put in $450,000 against me. Kevin McCarthy spent $450,000 against me because he bought that vote. You know, the person that was, you know, and this was in a primary. This wasn't even in general. This is primary, right? I mean, you know, because the person that I was running against vowed to vote for him. You know, so this is what they do. This is what they do. If you're not part of the clique, right? If you're not part of the game, you know, that they want to play, you know, I mean, they're going to spend money against you, and it's a lot of money out there. It's a lot of money. So, you know, definitely have your bankroll ready, girl, and have some folks behind you, because you're going to need some money. So, but I know you can get it done. But okay, I'm gonna play a couple clips.
Roll out there if I didn't have them behind me. So that's
I know it. I know you wouldn't. You know, so these are people. So this is what some of the people think about. I'm gonna go back on the Democrats, right? Because they're losing their base, and this is good. I think this is good, you know, that they're losing their base. I'm gonna play this CNN clip, and CNN always have the most effeminate men, and it seems like they, you know, they choose the dumbest black women, and it's sad, but they choose the dumbest black women to come on their shows and speak and represent. So I'm gonna play this clip real quick, because I mean, like I say, 29%, 27%, they're losing their base, you know, because they're talking about now with the Democrat Party, they're trying to form a similar like Tea Party, you know, like we did with the Republicans, right? With the Tea Party. I don't think they can put it done because they're communist. One, you know, their party, you know, they're too progressive, and this is why they're having factions now, because they're having that fight between, well, you know, we really can't be communists. We could be Marxists a little bit, but we really can't be communists. But they want to be full-blown communists. But here's a clip.
Right. Most of the caucus is furious. I never before, my parents were Democrats. I've been a Democrat my entire life. Never before did I say, I should leave this party, because if democracy is at risk and you had no idea what to do and you have no plan, and even now at this moment, you know nothing of what to do and you're capitulating to this is disgusting.
Are you thinking about leaving the Democratic Party? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes, me personally, yes. I'm not an elected official.
And I want to say this, because I hate that word. I hate Democratic Party. There's nothing democratic about the fucking party. Okay, they're the Democrat Party, and I say Democrat Party, and because with that word, Democratic, like they're up above board. There's some of the sleaziest bastards out here. There's nothing Democrat. I mean, look at what they did. To Biden, they threw a coup on Biden. Democratic, they didn't even have an election to make Kamala Harris their nomination. What's democratic about this party? What is democratic about this party? They overthrew their own party. They held a coup against Joe Biden and did not have a primary to elect who they wanted to be. So what's democratic about this party? Absolutely nothing.
But I have always voted with the Democrats.
Over this issue.
Yeah, over the inability to figure out what to do in the face of fascism and the rise of Trump.
I hear you on that. The inability to have a plan is absolutely a problem, right? But
who's the fascist? Who didn't have an election to install Kamala Harris?
They're fascists. That's what I'm talking about.
They project. I mean, this is what they do. They project better than anybody. This is what they do. They project. So what they are saying is that they're speaking of themselves. Okay, so you guys understand that, right?
I'm really questioning what is the plan after the shutdown happens, because when a shutdown happens, people don't get paid. And this is not exactly an administration that wants to keep the government open. They actually want the thing to be shut down.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And I'm not a Democrat, never was. I was a lifelong Republican and quit the party over Donald Trump because
Lies.
I saw this clip earlier.
You saw this? She lied. She straight out of her mouth, just straight lied. First thing out of her mouth.
he is someone who doesn't respect the Constitution and is trying to rule like a king. So, but look, I was part of the Tea Party movement. I watched what happened and how Republicans were a resistance opposition party when Democrats ran everything. And watching this happen now as someone who's an independent, that's pro-democracy, that I guess you can say caucuses with the Democrats now, it is very...
Stop. Let's just stop.
That's your black sister.
I'm about to say, get your girl. Get your girl, right?
Gosh, it's an embarrassment. I really
They're embarrassing. They are totally embarrassing. My gosh.
Very frustrating. When you don't have a leader, there's no unification in a message. It hurts the grassroots and the troops that you need. Right. Could you imagine if, during World War II, and you saw what was happening with the bombs over London, and then, it was just like, Churchill's just going to say, we're going to capitulate now because, what are we going to do about it? This is not the way you...
Here's the problem with the Democrat Party, and Nancy Pelosi so hit on. Here's the problem, and I mentioned it last week on the show. The Democrat Party has turned over the party to black females. That's their black females and effeminate men, beta males. That's the problem. If anybody out here is listening is a liberal or a Democrat, you want to fix your party, get some alpha men to run this shit, okay, and put the black females in the background. They're embarrassing. Okay, they're weak. They want to play the race card out, and these effeminate men are not going to come out and fight for you. And that's why Hakeem Jeffries is not a leader. Okay, because he's effeminate as fuck. Okay, so
they are so loud and so wrong.
Just loud and wrong all the time. I'm like, they want to get the loudest ones. They want to get the ones with the fake hair. You want to be the blondie. You want. I'm like, come on, right?
And like, now that the black Democrats keyword capitulating.
They learned a new word. Right? Capitulating, right? And they are going to start, they all say it now, right? This is what they do. This is their Operation Mockingbird. That's their key word now. Oh my God.
Lead. What happens is that the Republicans who are in charge, they have to explain why workers aren't getting paid. They need to explain why they can't run the government. And the Democrats need to say, we were fighting for you. It's not they're in charge. And show that people are being fought for. I'm watching what's happening, and when you have a demoralized base, You're never going to lead an opposition. If you don't have the chutzpah, if you don't have the intestinal fortitude to lead, then get the hell out of the way, Chuck Schumer, and let the people who are willing to fight for their constituents lead the party. Because this is not the way to win.
Okay, then how angry are Democrats at Leader Schumer?
I've never seen this level of volcanic anger at a Democrat ever. Ever.
Wow.
We could be grumpy, we can be frustrated with each other. There is a volcanic eruption of outrage at Leader Schumer because we want a Mitch McConnell. I remember when Obama had all the cards. Mitch McConnell drove Obama nuts, twisted his pinky, broke his kneecaps, and got stuff done for Republicans when they shouldn't have gotten an inch. They got miles. We have a Senate a majority leader who is beloved in this party, but we want somebody who's going to stand up to this bully. Stand up to this bully. Do something. And if you shut the government down and it gets a little bit crazy, at least some politics is about the rationality. There's an emotional need to stop Donald Trump and Elon Musk from running over this party. And I think Chuck Schumer has radically misread the room.
Radically misread the room. Let's listen to Charlemagne the God, who was about as blunt as you are in his own way. This is his message for the Democratic leadership now.
It's furious, right?
I actually ran that on another clip.
Furious. I
actually ran Charlemagne on another clip because I don't listen to nothing Charlemagne has to say. Absolutely nothing. He means absolutely nothing, and he's Charlemagne the lesser charge. I would not call another person, God's name, and it's blasphemy for them to even say that anyway. To keep using that. So what do you think about Chuck Schumer? Did Chuck Schumer do the right thing?
I think Chuck Schumer has been exposed by this administration. And I think Chuck Schumer had to make a choice because, Trump plays hardball. And to destroy the leader of their party would be party destruction and demise. So Chuck Schumer is playing ball because he's been dirty for so long. It was just a matter of time. They all fought tooth and nail to prevent this moment that Trump was in power, knew their dirt, found out how many crimes they committed, how much collusion that they committed, and Chuck Schumer just had to say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to have to take this one on the chin because I'm trying to get out of this office unscathed. So I think it's a simple case of, dirt uncovered, him trying to cover his behind. And so he bit that bullet.
Yeah. And like you say, they use Nancy Pelosi to try to play the theater. So coming up September, what's going to happen in September?
We gotta wait and see because, like I said, I never count the Democrats out. We just gotta wait and see because they'll always be, that September Monday. So I don't put anything past anybody in politics. It's all a power. You can't trust anybody. Everybody's trying to get into the next position, the higher rank. So, when you're in those levels of, that type of energy, anything can happen.
Yeah, here's what I think. Of course, when we talk about projection, right? This is what the Democrats want to happen right here.
Okay, over the last few days, we did not like this. A ton of anti-Trump chaos agents storming buildings and violently damaging Teslas. Senior advisor to President Trump, Elon Musk, says he's received death threats because he wants to downsize the federal government. But according to California Democrat Maxine Waters, President Trump is the one who wants to incite violence and start a war. Here she is.
I'm worried that Trump is on the edge of creating a civil war. He alluded to it more than once. He alluded to the fact that if he did not get reelected, that there could be a civil war. What does Trump expect? Oh, I believe he expects violence. I believe he expects confrontation. I believe he's working toward a civil war.
what? I'm just so over it. That's so played from her. You know, after George Floyd's murder, she would say, get up in their face. I don't even understand it anymore. What is she talking about?
It goes farther back. Remember when Sarah Huckabee Sanders, then White House press secretary, was kicked out of a Virginia restaurant called the Red Hen?
Yeah.
Right after that, Maxine Waters was the first to go out and say, this is a great thing. I want all of the liberals to target Trump people wherever they are, harass them, go after them. She's been on this ever since. And by the way, during that period, it was President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama who said, when they go low, we go high. That's out the door, clearly. And now you're seeing her accusing Trump of being the one who wants to incite violence. No one's, I think, really listening seriously to her anymore when she says that, because within the span of 24 to 48 hours, there's yet another incident like we saw at Trump Tower, where clearly, obviously, people are driven by her hypocritical message to do just what she's saying the other parties.
Do you think the Democrats want a civil war?
You know, I think it's jargon. They're not
I think they'll get their ass kicked, first of all. But
just not armed like conservatives.
they're not at all.
You know, I don't throw that
I don't.
with some salt. You know, Maxine Waters, you know, you have to look at her. She's a California raisin. If you remember those,
Yeah, right.
those California raisins. You know, and her time is up, and she has to make as much noise as she can. Remember, we're in the Jasmine Crockett age. You know, Maxine Waters' power is waning, you know, because of some, you know, black woman who allegedly might be married to a white man with a wig that's glued on wrong. You know,
And some eyelashes that's too big for her face.
so their egos are hurt. That's why Maxine has to go out on a limb and say things like, I believe Trump wants violence. You know, it's all an act. They all, you know, they're insecure about their power. And when somebody like Jasmine comes along and replaces the voice of, you know, Maxine Waters.
That replaces the voice of stupid.
Yeah, just barking. So, yeah, no, it's not, you know, this country, no matter what, people want good jobs. They want good educations for their children. They want, you know, to make a living wage and, you know, to go on a family vacation. Nobody's looking at a civil war. She's crazy.
No, I don't think so. That's one thing they really don't want, you know, to be honest. You know, because they won't win. I mean, even if you look at the map, literally look at the map, you know, of the counties and across everything's red. Everything's red except for little blue pockets. I mean, you don't want to fuck with the red. You don't want that Maxine. You really don't want that Maxine. You might want to look at a map before you try to talk about, you know, civil war, because, you know, if he wanted to call a civil war, yeah, it might be an onslaught. You
He
know,
loves
but
the
Trump,
country too much. Nobody
but
gets cheated and talked about and dogged out globally every single day like Donald Trump, for Donald Trump to turn around and call on mass destruction in the country. Never
yeah,
gonna
not at all.
gonna-
You know, not at all. Not at all. I don't think so. I mean, you know, and the thing with, you know, this thing with Elon Musk, right? You know, he's doing this for free. He's not getting paid. He's not getting paid. You know, they talk about, you know, Elon Musk, he has, you know, access to our personal data. Your personal data is all over the world right now. Your personal data is sitting in India right now. Indians, they have your personal data. You don't seem to be worried about that. They have your socials. They have your bank account information. Try picking up a phone, you know, calling, you know, for support with someone and see, don't you get somebody in India? They have your shit. Elon Musk could care less about your $2.32 bank account. He doesn't need that. Richest guy in the world, you know, just launched another SpaceX rocket to the space station or whatever that's for. You know, I mean, but you know, this thing with Elon Musk, just because he's a billionaire, because he's Trump's right hand man, actually, because they're pissed off because he's finding out their crimes, even though he's scared to admit them. You know, I played a clip last week, you know, when he was on Joe Rogan, and he said, I don't even know how far I can actually, or how much I can say about the corruption, because they're going to kill me, you know? And you know, and that's probably true if he kept going, you know. I mean, but he knows, he already knows, he's seen it. Now it's just the fact of, how can I continue to release this information and dig deeper, and how deep do I go, and keep my life? But you signed up for it, dude. That's my thing. You signed up for it, right?
Yeah, totally. Totally.
But that's where I think, the bonding and all that stuff. I mean, these people, they, all right. So when we sign up for the military, right? Every military person knows that there's a possibility that we may go to war. There's a possibility that something may happen to where we may lose our life. Okay. I think if you sign up for AG, you sign up for, any one of these cabinet positions, you sign up for this Doge thing, you sign up for anything that has to do with the federal government, you can't be scared to die. You can't be scared to die as a congressman, as a senator, because you're always going to have some enemies that are going to be against you for most likely doing the right thing, because it affects them because they're doing the wrong thing, right? Or someone that represents these people, they're doing the wrong thing. So you can't be scared to die. You can't be scared to, be put on the Clinton kill list. Okay. You can't be worried about that. I understand you have kids, understand that, but soldiers go to battle every day. They're out there protecting this country every day with the fear. Some of them have fear, but they can let it affect them, right? That they're going to die tonight. Right. So my man, Elon, if you're listening, you can't be a punk bitch, man. Not right now. You can't. If you know it, you just you have to put it out there. Pam Bondi, you have to put it out there. Kash Patel, you have to put it out there. It's time to put all of this stuff out there for the American public to see, and let the cards fall where they're made. If half of our government is corrupt and goes down, then guess what? They need to go down. And they need to be replaced, And I mean, the only one I've seen held accountable, for some of his wrongdoings, for raping kids and going overseas, screwing little girls or whatever, is Menendez, And they talk about the DOJ. That was Biden's DOJ that took down their own guy. They took down their own guy, because for some reason he pissed somebody off.
Or he just knew too much. And other people were involved as well. So always know, they'll have a scapegoat until that scapegoat has no value. And then once the scapegoat has no value, they eliminate that scapegoat. And that's always been the playbook. And so, that's what I'll say about that.
Okay, I'm going to play some pissed off Democrats. We just play this.
Is the most toxic piece of shit I could possibly imagine. And Chuck Schumer just went, nah, too hard. We're not going to fight it. They might blame us. Guess what? Let them blame you. Get in the fight. Show people you give a shit. Show people there's some line you won't cross. Show people you've got a spine and guts and heart and some blood in your veins. Jesus Christ, Chuck. Do you want you Mitch McConnell, if he was in your shoes, would be fucking Donald Trump every minute of the day. Mitch McConnell would have Mike Johnson rolled over on the floor, tied up in knots every day. If you can't do it, if you're the General McClellan of the U.S. Senate, quit and let someone who's got some balls take the job. This CR is going to absolutely your people. You're going to dishearten every Democrat in the country. You're going to hurt your chances in 2026. And when you sit there and go, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. Yes, there is something you can do. You can tell the story every day. You can go out every day and tell people the harm that is being done by Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Mike Johnson and John Thune and every other goddamn Republican who's leading this charge to burn this country to the ground. Am I mad? Yes, I'm mad. Is anger justified? Yes, it's justified. The fact that you people have a perfect setup, teed up opportunity where you could absolutely hang this around their necks like a boat anchor and throw them into the deep end of the pool absolutely boggles my mind. That's it.
And these are the same people, right? These people that are calling for this government shutdown are the same people when Donald Trump was in office and Donald Trump was saying he was going to shut down the government. That was against the government shutdown. These people are fucking psychotic. They are psychotic, and they just don't want Trump to win. Let's just be honest. They don't want to give Trump any victories. And if they, like I say, step back, right, and actually wanted to help the American people, I mean, like I said, they have no leverage. Just work with them. Just stop. Just stop. Just work with them, right? I mean, at this point, you have no choice. Yeah, you can keep, bitching about it, right? You can keep, like this dude, keep ranting about it, and now, you're going to come over, and now you want the government to shut down. What about, mom's Social Security? What about Medicare? What about, the poor soldiers that are not going to get paid their paychecks? What about, little Johnny that's not going to get his food, at school, because, okay, so what about these people now? I mean, this is what you talk about. This is what you, capitulate. I'm going to use their words. This is what you capitulate about when it's the Republicans that say they're going to shut down the government. But now it's okay. Now it's okay. You don't care about grandma that's on Social Security. She's going to get her Social Security. Oh, how is she going to pay for her medication? Oh, how are we going to, continue to fund the schools? And, none of that is a worry now, right?
Look, all I can say is we have to keep our heads on straight, not be deterred by any distractions. Trump said it at the congressional address. It doesn't matter what I do that is good for this country. Democrats are never going to either come on board or be a part of it or congratulate. So he's just got to continue on the course that he's on. There's nothing, as we see every day, day in and out, even the calls for violence, like we just heard from Maxine Waters. Trump has to stay on course. And I like that he's continued to move swiftly. I think if he just continued to focus on America within America, we could move a lot faster, and we could rectify a lot of these issues that have affected the economy, affected the morale of the American people, affected the safety of the American people. I think you just need to stay focused there and not even worry about the Democrats.
Absolutely, there, and that's probably the last thing that I'll play for the Democrats. They just give you so much material, though. They cry they just cry every week. It's just so much, that you get, that you laugh at because they give you so much material, right? But let's talk about material real quick, because this has been a bust, and I think I think this is the most cringe thing I've ever seen this week, right?
There's a lot. So which one?
I know which one is it, right? Here, well, it's two things. Well, what? I'm going to do that last. But I'll do that in a minute. But I want to talk about the girl that hit the girl with the baton. I'm sure you've seen that, right? Okay. And now she's making an excuse. And now we actually have, I'm going to play the clip.
This morning, Alayla Everett, the track star at the center of that viral video showing her appearing
it's clear as day she knocked the hell out of that girl, right?
Is speaking out.
I would never do that on purpose. That's not in my character.
Everett says the incident is a complete misunderstanding, pointing to another angle of the race as proof.
The baton was literally like her arm was literally hitting the baton like this until she got a little ahead. And my arm got stuck.
Came over the top of her head and knocked the hell out of her.
Everett is seen on the inside track running the 4x200 relay at the Virginia State High School League Championships when junior Kaylin Tucker came around the outside on the corner.
That's when she hit me with the baton. I just felt a bang on my head, and then I fell off the track immediately.
Kaylin dropping her baton and reaching for her head. She was later diagnosed with a concussion.
Okay, so you saw that. Now the NAACP is coming out saying that it's racism.
What is it? Black on black crime?
It's black on black crime. They're saying that I can't even make sense out of this shit, right? They're saying that the comments or whatever, and that's where I used to live in Virginia. That IC Norcom school was where we're not one of the seasons. I was in Portsmouth, in Virginia, but close to where I lived. But they're coming out and say that the comments and the lash that the girl that hit the girl is getting is racist. Well, it's black on black crime. What's racism? That doesn't even play. That doesn't even play. You know, they say, oh, well, the girl is taking so much. She hit the hell out of she bust that girl in the head.
Twice.
Right?
Twice. I mean, you have to look at it. The NAACP needs attention because nobody's paying
They need attention. Nobody. Right? There's no white cops shooting black guys right now. So the NAACP, they got to call racism on black crime. Yeah, this is the dumbest shit. I said, I'm like, you guys got to be kidding me, right? I mean, it's clear as day. And her parents, look, just go have a talk with her parents, apologize. She lost their head a little bit. She didn't really mean to do it. She was frustrated. She's sorry. We're sorry because you're making yourself look stupid. But not only that, they actually was having a rally for this girl, right? And they actually have people out there supporting her. I mean, when video don't lie, it's just unbelievable.
Look at it though, and that's where Democrats will be silent because they'll allow the black on black crime.
Right.
That's not an issue. Right now, Al Sharpton's not getting any attention. The only time we see him now is like at Angie Stone's funeral and every Roberta Flack's funeral. We see him at
Costco.
because there's no platform for his ignorance anymore. And I'm grateful for that.
So grateful.
Hakeem Jeffries, he just gets on and he just says anything and it absolutely makes no sense. They all need attention, but they have no plan. And so we're seeing the outcome of that lack of planning, that disarray, and it's a mess. It's a complete juggernaut for them. And it's good to see, some dismantling that's happening, across the aisle. And I'm looking forward to see what it is they come with, because they have to come with something. Now, the administration can also drop a lot of information, a lot of evidence on different people in their party. So that, if you want to ask me what's going to happen towards September, I think it's going to be a peeling of the bananas of crimes of different Democrat and possibly Republican legislators and other politicians, because I think, the evidence has been there, and it'll just be how the Trump administration rolls it out to the American public.
Yeah, I think so. So here's the bust. I'm going to play this now while we end the show. But, I thought she was gone, or he or whoever, but she's back. She's back. And it was the most cringeworthy thing I've seen this week, other than Jasmine Crotchet. But this took the cake.
Michelle Obama's walking. We can't let her go.
Primetime's been wondering where Michelle Obama's been. She snubbed both Jimmy Carter's funeral and Trump's inauguration. And last week, Barack went to a basketball game all by himself. Turns out Michelle's been busy working on a new podcast, and so far, it's been a flop. The first 2 episodes have been up all day and only gotten a few thousand views on YouTube. Half of them were probably primetime producers. But still, Michelle's spilling the family secrets, like how Barry gets on her nerves. Listen.
Barack, he had to adjust to what on time was for me.
Because he was on that island time.
Well, but, I've got this husband who's like, when it's time to leave, it's 3:00, he's getting up and going to the bathroom. And I was like, dude, like 3:00 departure means you've done all that, It's like, don't start looking for your glasses, at the 3:00 departure. But he's improved over 30 years of marriage. But that was you must adjust.
First of all, where did this dude come from? Her brother.
Oh, but he looks more feminine than her.
That's what I'm saying, right? These effeminate Democrat men. There's something.
The only difference is her crazy teeth. It's like, I'm like, oh my God. That's just, it was horrendous. They're not attractive people to watch. So it's hard to listen to what they say because they're not attractive people. And nobody cares. Like he said.
Right, nobody cares.
Right. He's like, look, you snubbed, 2 different presidential funerals of people who did nothing wrong to you, and between her and Barack being here and there is giving very separate. It's giving very, very separate. So, she can go on and purport and talk about 30 years of marriage, but we haven't seen the likes of them together. Now, I will say they are smart people. So if there's something dramatic that happens and they need to prove that they're still together, they're going to play the role. Remember, he was president. You play the role, you play your position. But I will guarantee you there's something that's giving very separate between the two of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I heard something about that. One of the daughters were gonna write a tell-all book or something. I don't know. We're not their kids.
I was the one who put up a $50,000 reward.
That was you. Okay. Okay. That
17 for anybody that had
Right.
pictures of Michelle Obama pregnant. Now, I will tell you, I know plenty of people in Chicago who grew up with Michelle Obama. She is definitely a woman. I've seen pictures of her as a little girl on a tricycle eating a popsicle. I have seen that. But the fact of the matter is, she did not give birth to Sasha and Malia. That would be Marty Nesbitt and his wife. And it would be, I think it would be honest of them to come out and say, you know, we didn't want to disclose this to the American people, but our best friends decided to carry, you know, have our children for. That would give them a more authentic, you know, openness for the American people to even attempt to try and accept them back. Because what the Obamas did to this country, the economy, to race wars, all of it, it was pure destruction. So if they want to, even this talk show or podcast is not going to make her human. Being upfront with the bull crap and the destruction and the mistakes that you made while you were in that Oval Office for 8 years would be your best option to try and do that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. 100% because we're not ready for the Obamas again. But that was just a cringeworthy. Like, with this guy, who does a podcast with their brother or sister, man? It's like,
you know, you didn't, when you were there for 8 hours, you didn't do anything
Did nothing.
but come out of the woodwork when you know, Democrats needed you to bamboozle Black America, and Black men woke up. And the Black men who said that were the Black men who were leaders of households. So that trickled down to their women, which trickled down to their children. So the Obamas don't have that stake in Black America as they once thought they did. And I'm glad that Black America, you know, for some part, has woken up to that.
Yeah, and that was shown when Barack came out and tried to chastise Black men for not supporting Kamala, the Indian woman. Like, dude, come on, man. So he knew that. He's like, all right, I'm done. Because you didn't see them anymore after that. After that day, you know, I think you saw them because they weren't even at the at her nomination night. You know, none of them were even there. So, you know, I think that told the story. They knew she wasn't going to win anyway, but that's another thing. So, all right, girl.
That's why Trump was at the funeral trying to make friends with Trump.
Trying to make, I know, right? And trying to make friends.
He was like, Kamala, turn back around. We don't want to talk to you.
I know, right? We ain't talking to you. We good. We talking about women. That's something else.
And please don't try and press charges against me.
I know. That's what. Hey, man, we cool, right?
Right, we
You
could.
know, you know, we cool, right, man? You know, because hey, man, I apologize for what I did, but you know, but we cool, right? yeah, I definitely can see that. Well, girl, thanks for sitting in with me tonight in the Radical Republicans live show here in the Lions Den. You know, you're always welcome. It's always fun with you. The audience always loves you because you always tell it like it is. You always bring it out, bring the truth, and we love you here in the Lions Den.
American people might not like me, but they're not gonna call me a liar.
Hey, you know, that's what I say. You know, I say that too. You might not gonna like me. You know, I got some people hating on me now because of my, you know, stance and some things that I've been saying. You know, I've been putting out about Israel, about how all of the Israeli prime ministers have changed their European Jewish names to sound more Palestinian and to sound more Middle Eastern. You guys might want to go look that up. Yes, every one of them has changed their names. So that's going to be another show too. But hey, we'll check you guys out next week. Thank you, Trevian, for sitting in. We love you, girl. You're gonna have to keep me up on some things offline. Okay, girl. I will talk to you later. All right, good night. All right, y'all. There it is, my girl Trevian Kutti running it off. All right, we're at 2 hour mark, so we're gonna close it out. Hey, but thank you guys for hey, I just want to send a shout out to all the Democrats, all you liberals, you know, all you people who hating on us right now. You know, just get on board with the Trump train. And let's do this, all right? And let's just do it. So I check y'all out next Sunday night. Next Sunday night, I have the Philip Turney, survivor from the USS Liberty attack, is going to be here in the Lion's Den. We'll see y'all next week. Later.
Sometimes I don't speak right, but yet I know what I'm talking about. Why can't we be friends? 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 I know you're waiting for the CIA. They wouldn't have you in the my mind.